Oh yeah, I really like this Trigger Chairs album.
Good evening, Muware. Or
Hello.
late night for you?
Yeah, fairly late.
We got a give game. Let's watch some live games.
That's very exciting.
Good evening to our American chatters, to our European chatters. It's your bedtime. Go to bed. If you're not gonna go to bed, subscribe. I love the number of GIFs that we have for give game. I've been doing my little pictures, but once in a while somebody will post a triple exclamation mark into the give game channel, and they're always brilliant.
I think my favorite is still the frog boss from Gomorrah Speed. It was very cute.
People are much better at remembering these little mystery game names than I am, but I also don't blame myself because they are often just terrible names for video games and not very descriptive of what is actually happening. Or they're sometimes too descriptive, like a game called Jumper, where I'm like, yes, I assume that we will either jump or we will wear a sweater. One of those two things.
I'd like to see the second one.
Maybe both. Maybe both.
That's for the sequel, Jumper Squared. Well, but we have coming up WhytePanther versus DeepFreeze. Both not exactly new here. WhytePanther in the 7th edition joined in MT13. DeepFreeze joining in MT4 and has joined 11 tournaments. Must have skipped a few, yeah, but both veterans.
Yeah, and I think everybody who's watched a WhytePanther race recently on commentary has been a bit surprised with the below 500 win rate. WhytePanther's come off as a competitive racer, and I think that they're still in the tournament here now is a good sign that we might have a better instinct than the numbers actually show. Pretty similar in win rate though, right? DeepFreeze, more a veteran. Has DeepFreeze been missing for a few MTs and come back?
Must have, yeah. Joined in MT4. But has done 11, so a few must be missing in between.
I like the racers who were in MT4, MT1, because you just kind of know that they have to be on the older end, even if they were 18 when the first M team came around. They've got jobs, they got spouses, they got kids, and they're still here. They're racing. That's not to say that people who've joined recently aren't also just old heads, myself included.
Yeah, I think we skew on the older side by now. Let's see what they played. Looks like DeepFreeze only has one match here.
Yeah, he got one of those sneaky, the winner probably had to go face a seeded player. Which I think Despbox Falco might have had to play someone like Adam, if my memory recalled.
Yeah, that's possible.
Or Ferris, I should say.
DeepFreeze played Gunner's Heaven, also known as Rapid Reload, a PS1 Metal Slug-like, I wanna say. WhytePanther played Koizuru Purin, a DS platformer about a very cute pudding with special powers and some other desserts. And then Banana Nababa, which is like a boss rush action game, I think.
It's quickly becoming a MT classic. It has our go-to...
Oh yeah, we've got an emote.
Reject emote, which I will spam 5 times in chat. Yeah, we didn't see much of Reject Guy. It turns out that Reject Guy only shows up if you hang out on the ground, and in that race, despite the fact that it was a double, the majority of our racers were refusing to hang out down there. But he is comical. Racers already have a game. Good job, team.
And funnily enough, it relates to what I said earlier, but we'll see when the game gets revealed.
I feel like this is one of the... We just have a few media franchises that will just show up every MT just because they make a lot of games. Hello Kitty is one that I constantly reference because I think there's no such thing as a bad Hello Kitty game. This is obviously a lie, do not listen to that, but it's kind of hard to like mess up some things. We'll always find some sort of Mega Man like you to toss at people. And I think this also has been a media franchise that we've seen, or a mascot that we've seen repeatedly throughout MTs. We just had Pac-Man. Pac-Man also, I think, finds his way into MT, though it's not actually Pac-Man ever.
I wonder if you've played any other Pac-Man games. I mean,
We had the Pack and Roll game,
oh yeah,
like
that's mine
the
even. That
Marble
was my
Madness.
sub, yeah.
So we've, I think, had 2 Pac-Man games already this MT.
I've
I'm curious if we can just find a
World.
ghost
I
avoider.
wonder if that would work.
Oh, I feel like we had a, it might have been in Gamesgiving, because it was basically just a reject game of, was it Pac-Man World 2? Just a point and, like, walk around, basically point and click adventure.
That's Pac-Man 2 on the Super
That's
Nintendo
Pac-Man
and maybe
2?
Genesis, yeah. Pac-Man 2 The New Adventures.
Yeah, that game's not MT safe or good for MT, but it was very funny as I recall.
Yeah, it's a very interesting game and pretty unusual.
Question for you, Jack. You guys might have a better memory than me. How many minecart levels have we seen so far? Because I've got a few that like come to mind.
In Little Ralph we had one.
Little Ralph had one. I feel like we had another. Minecart levels are one of my favorite little... It's never like a genre. There's no such thing as just a minecart game, and maybe there should be.
Have you played Love Truck for PS1? That's a minecart
No, and I've
game.
not heard of it either. It's just pure minecarts.
Yeah. If you've seen Mad Penny Coaster, it's maybe a bit like that, but slower, and there's more to do and less to just survive. But yeah, that is a minecart game.
It would be like, if it's a PS1 game, they wouldn't have like completely fleshed out the minecart genre, because as our chatter notes, minecart games are basically auto runners. But like, you could easily put a boost on like World 3 on your minecart, make it so you can go faster or slower. Cannibalt. Are any of these MT viable? I'm curious now.
Cannibalt is an auto runner, right? I'm not sure if... It depends on how often you have to redo parts and how checkpointy it is. I'm not sure. I think Cannibalt always sends you back to the start, I think, maybe. I haven't played that much.
Yeah, because the difference between like an auto runner and like just a game that has basically auto scrollers. Auto runner games can be touchy if we can get them through MT, because they basically have to be really difficult to make sure that players aren't just going to beat the whole game in one bite. Obviously, auto scrollers are a bane. I think we had a submission where they cut out the auto scrollers, or maybe that was just... I'm thinking of actually GDQ. They raced the Mario Maker, basically tutorial, and they had cut out the the auto-scrollers, and like that is actually the way that we should race everything.
I mean, at least on Little Ralph, the minecart was actually an interesting stage. I guess the big thing about any kind of auto-scroller in races is there has to be some friction. Yeah, if it's just the auto-scroller and they don't die and they don't have to beat anything, then it's just a fixed amount of time that they're waiting, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Same issue with like shmups and everything. This Pastebin has more than I thought it would. It's also a Rentry. Shout out to Rentry. But for a game that I thought would have, you know, a D-pad and maybe an A to jump, we have actually
it has some
a lot.
details so they can skip dialogue, for example. It says before boss fight dialogues, because apparently it would tell you weaknesses of the boss.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot going on here. It's always a challenge, and we'll usually hear it from Myth and Maurice. And when you go through a Pastebin, and like what you mentally try and take in and what you disregard, I see a couple like level specific things that you just kind of want to find a way to highlight, because if you forget by the time you get there, and it's going to be half an hour into the race, 40 minutes into after you read the Pastebin for the first time, will you remember that there's a stupid elevator?
I think as a racer, I would try to separate between stuff I have to know at the start and stuff I have to know in specific places, and I can still look it up when I need it.
Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine doing Mystery Tournament with only one screen. Trying to have the Pastebin up, trying to have the race chat up, and also have the game up all at the same time on one screen just sounds like a real challenge, and I'm sure one of us fools actually tries to do it, but
so sometimes you can see based on people's streams that they only have one stream. If they use desktop capture, and then you see that they have their IRC open tab out. Well, yeah, I think in general, if you're streaming, one screen is probably not enough to do it comfortably. There seem some interesting characters here on the start screen of this game. Not sure we're really gonna see much of them.
How is there more than one character in this game?
Yeah, a whole bunch actually.
Are they all the same animal? It's an animal game.
Some of them, not all of them. They're all
Okay.
like mascot-ish characters for sure.
Okay. Well, I'm suspicious. I'm even struggling to remember if I've seen this particular race before, if I've seen a different race. I'm thinking maybe like, I thought the version I was thinking of had a 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've seen. I guess I'll have to see the game to recognize it, but the
Pastebin says MT17, which
okay.
I have a suspicion I watch basically every race for, so I should have seen it. But chat will know. It could also, in theory, been submitted MT17 and then not seen yet if the random puller just really doesn't like this game for some reason. Okay, there we go. One of our racers is readied up. Are we ready to share the game? Clean audio? Let's do this, kids.
I'm seeing one stream so far.
These guys are both veterans. They should, and also it's not their first race. They should know. Get your stream up, come on. Berzek, we also know that you were running a toaster for a decade. I'm happy that we have you on a better computer, but my understanding is the testers now no longer have a bare minimum tester to find out if a big game can be run by the worst computer we have. So it goes both ways. Oh, that's good. That's good. Looking at these cards, they both have finished 33rd, which I'm gonna say is like 4-2 probably. Don't see it on screen. I mean, where is this? Winners or losers? Wizards or lizards?
Lizards 2.
Lizards 2. Cool. This jazz song has been very long, which it is jazz. They're allowed to do that.
Look at the game. If I press the reload button. It's a Frogger game. Frogger's Adventures: The Rescue on Gamecube, apparently.
Yeah, and this is a resubmission. The pastebin said MT17. It's been submitted by Wizardo the Ancient, which hurts my feelings whenever a DS game or a PSP game gets called Ancient. Oh, this is Gamecube. This is definitely retro at this point. And this is Frogger's Adventure. You're going to be doing Frogger things, but based on my memory and based on the pastebin, there's a lot more going on than just getting across the pond.
So yeah, all these characters. Guess they're mostly frogs.
I think they are all frogs. The lady frog just reminds me of like Star Fox.
Star frogs.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you there, Verzek. And then I go to like a convention and like go take out a Xbox 360. Oop. Okay. Let's not play the stream on my phone. Okay, welcome to Frogger's Adventure: The Rescue. Both of our racers are playing as Frogger.
Okay, so this is gameplay-wise like the PS1 games. I guess the GBA games are also like this. We've got a short and a long jump on different buttons, I think.
Oh, I actually joined this race. Yeah, the turning around without like moving is a important part of just controlling this game. And it can get quite finicky. You can just see DeepFreeze just jumping off for no particular reason, but it's just because the controls are just a little bit funky, a little bit weird.
Wizardo doesn't need to pay spins, he has all the wisdom of many MTs.
Yeah. So, just to explain why the controls are a little bit weird. So you move the D-pad to move around, but you use L and R to rotate Frogger without moving. In addition to then also doing Super Hop with the, like, jump with the A and tongue with B.
So it's been about 1 minute 30 and we've had our first Sokoban-ish box push for WhytePanther. Nice to see. DeepFreeze also pulling. No, that's not allowed. Yeah, DeepFreeze trying to... experimenting, I guess, with his skills here. There's a tutorial right in front, it says movable something. Maybe pulling was a mistake, maybe they should have only have made it pushable.
You can grab the movable wall right there by pushing and holding the tongue button to use your tongue. Once you grab...
I love Gamecube, man. Just every game's gonna have a voice actor do the tutorial. And the tutorials are always gonna be slightly longer than you need. It's Frogger.
You can grab the movable wall.
Yeah, pushing with the tongue.
WhytePanther already finishing the first stage.
Choosing to get the coins too. The so the coins do add up. 50 coins gives you an extra life.
Oh.
And collecting 8 coins quickly will give you 10 more coins. So running around here like this and doing the pattern and getting the note blocks will give WhytePanther more lives in the long run. But we're not like trying to beat the game without continues. It's just acknowledging that lives could matter.
Does a death, the death sends you to a checkpoint? Does the game over send you to the start of the stage, or do you keep your checkpoints?
If you run out of lives, you select story mode again, and you will restart the current level. So from what I remember, this game gets a little scary at times because you just don't really know. The levels are like decently long, and you just end up losing lives to small little control things if you're not careful. You can see how like gingerly the racers are turning around because the using L and R to just do the facing can be a little touchy, and things like these bosses at the end of levels are something that we definitely don't want to lose all our lives to, because these levels take a while to go through.
Here's some kind of boss for WhytePanther, or at least something to escape from. Maybe not a boss yet. I'm fairly sure I also raced this. This seems really familiar.
I think it might have been like very, very early in MT17. Like I remember Small Amy being like game 1 of a recent MT. I think this might have been game 1 of MT17. Or at least like the game that I tested SRC on or something. I'm happy to see that DeepFreeze is like back up to speed. They spent a bit of time just getting used to the controls there in the first area, but seem to be actually maybe even faster pace than WhytePanther on just like the basic movement.
Here's the big fish, so it wasn't too long ago for WhytePanther. Oh, rounds there.
Hey, actual Frogger. Just boxes crossing a river.
Yeah, that one's very classic. But maybe not the path ahead. Here's a switch. Oh.
Yeah, this game has like a decent amount of side paths, and some of them have things like switches, and some of them are just to collect things like lives. And knowing just intuitively which ones are going to be a bit rubbish is important. WhytePanther is like actually going out of his way to collect the coins, which is going to just be time loss unless it like literally saves him from having to like game over at the end of a level. I'm very curious to find out if it's going to be worth it, because it really only took like 2-3 seconds and no actual risk to pick up the coins. Yeah, this is like the first like actual test, because you need to like go quickly enough to not get eaten by the red like Venus plants.
DeepFreeze getting
And
this jump wrong twice? Oh, game over. But okay, that's probably the start of the stage right there. Yeah, not much of a loss.
yeah, you can see WhytePanther just basically a misinput, but this game is just very touchy. It might have like some sort of buffering from what I remember. Or like you think it's gonna buffer, but it doesn't. One of those two things. Okay. DeepFreeze has 8 lives, which is more than enough to beat any particular level. This isn't really a game that you want to take like purposeful game overs in, but in theory it might be faster.
I think if this is the game I remember, then it does get pretty difficult.
WhytePanther, just another misinput. Just going up instead of down. It's potentially an issue if you're using the control stick. It can be like even more finicky, or like if you have the control stick binded, it can cause issues. And that's actually noted in the pastebin to like consider just debinding the control stick so you don't have accidental misinputs. The tongue push is so weird. Nope. WhytePanther, another misinput, just not hitting the jump button instead of and jumps into the water, and it's just a brutal like 20-second time loss for. But the gate's open. Okay, that's fine. Potentially could actually do like a death warp here, if you know that where you're gonna respawn happens to be closer to the gate than going and doing all the jumps again.
Yeah, I don't know, does the game have much backtracking like that? We definitely see
I
our
mean,
players falling down a lot. I wonder if that's... if it's playing with analog stick, or maybe having 2 different jumps makes it difficult.
yeah, because it's not the puzzling. It's not like they're making a mistake of not seeing that they could make a jump or not. It's almost assuredly just input issues. And I recall just not loving the way this game controlled when we raced it previously. It's a balance though, right? Like if the game's gonna control a little bit weird, then you just need to take a little bit more time. And it's these parts where the game is not giving you time with like the flowers or potentially like a boss in the future that you have to beat. Nope, WhytePanther fell for the trap. The gate went up and then he tried to jump to a place that was no longer accessible. But like I said, maybe this is actually faster if the gate opens. Maybe you can get away with a death warp. I wouldn't suggest doing so with only 2 lives.
Okay, I thought the path was there where you did something, but okay, apparently not.
I don't think we have to go here. Don't we just need to go to the goal?
There's still a few things to be pulled here, so I guess that's not it.
Checkpoint, I guess. Is...
Okay, that clears all the pull things. Moving the ship a little bit, probably opening a path somewhere.
Like this is a death warp. I think this is actually faster. It's very risky though. WhytePanther's only got 1 life left. And we really have no understanding how long this level's gonna be.
Well, it's been going on for a while, so yeah, there's the exit.
There we go, yeah. Definitely worth considering here if we go into the next with only one life of just jumping in the pit. And we'll see if WhytePanther does it immediately.
First boss fight for WhytePanther. Our goal is beat World 2, so it's almost halfway.
Choosing not to just suicide, going to at least learn the boss patterns, if not just beat the boss in the first try. Or maybe second try. I'm not sure if this is that's an actual word GFM needs to make up. If being on 0 lives is your last life or not, is the sort of thing we could actually put in a paste bin, and probably has a very technical term for.
I'm trying to think, but no, I don't think I've heard any name for that. So the boss gives you quite a bit of time to respond to his attacks. He telegraphs very early.
And I like the way that WhytePanther's approach this, of just trying the boss, learning just on the first life, but not really like putting in that much effort.
Edge life or level life, yeah, that's... I don't think that's how that works.
We did go to 0 lives, and we're still alive, which is, I think how it works in real life, so... I've got 0 bonus lives. Okay, WhytePanther very respectfully, just waiting for the fish to do his thing before dragging the boulder on.
I'm not sure yet what to do to dodge the big swing. I guess probably just jump, but I'm not sure I've seen it yet.
I believe you can like one cycle this, like if you can get all 3 pulls in before he gets the attack. But it is very risky, and I assume that the top right is his lives, so I think it may have reset.
Getting WhytePanther multiple times, maybe not clear what to do.
No, we just jumped into it. Yeah, but there was really no chance that we were ever beating this on 1 life, given just WhytePanther's already burnt through now 5 of his 8 lives. DeepFreeze also back to 8 lives, so had to restart this level. I didn't catch how far they were in, but there's clearly a reason we're only going to beat World 2. This game is harder than it looks.
I think these Frogger games are generally pretty difficult. All of these like grid-based Frogger games have a bit of a reputation. And this boss that WhytePanther's on, I've seen him jump over the swing attack once, but maybe it's hard to time.
We only need 1 more attack, so if you can get the boulder in here really quickly, push or pull. I would have gone for it.
Okay, that was the harmless attack.
Okay,
and finishes
that works.
the boss.
Yeah, if you're struggling to jump over the tentacle, I mean, we maybe had good fortune there. I don't know if the boss is cycling through his attacks or random, but yeah, the one that targets where you were 2 seconds prior, not really a threat, will result in WhytePanther, I believe, completing World 1. Definitely felt like it could have been a completion. We're also getting a cutscene. And the world, yeah, there we go. We're in Metro Mayhem. Welcome to World 2. I'll check, because I was under the impression that this race went longer than 2 Worlds previously, but maybe that's just my memory of falling into pits a lot.
No, I think I only played 2 worlds when I raced this.
Yeah, it's just beat 2 Worlds. I forfeited. Oh yeah, I was on Bluetooth controls, and I think I was trying to use my Switch Pro control for whatever reason.
Finishing times were pretty close together. Mostly.
Yeah, just based on the times, even if we assume that the fastest times were similar, World 2 will take longer. We're looking at like 37 minutes as the fastest, and I don't think WhytePanther is like record beating pace, given that we've had deaths and a bit of turmoil.
Looks like WhytePanther had a game over. He's back at the start of Metro Mayhem.
This is the Frogger I remember. Monsters with like patterns of walking around, but you can't really tell precisely what they're doing. I think it might be based on like what's on the ground, like the different shades of the blocks. And welcome to the difficult part of this game. The blocks will drop out from under you, so you need to have already internalized when you need to jump and when you need to walk. And then you also need to be pretty decent at like the turning, because you just can't stand on these blocks for too long.
And now we're waiting. Oh, there's the platform. He's almost at the exit there.
How many lives we going into the boss with? Are we at the boss?
And
No, we're not even at the boss
just
yet.
about missing the moving platform. We'll have to wait a bit.
Yeah, DeepFreeze is actually quite far behind. I was under the impression that we were approaching the boss, but we still have another.
Yeah, that's the
level
stage
to
with the ship, I think, where I have to pull out
Yeah.
4 things. WhytePanther missed the jump here last time. This time gets it nicely.
Acknowledging that he was doing the puzzle incorrectly. And now is in a place that is just wrong. There we go. Yeah, you can go through these areas quite quickly if you just have no respect for the enemies. But given how quickly our players have been just burning through lives, mainly due to like control and input issues, I think just taking a little bit of time, even with parts that aren't related to your control issues, seems fair. I think you need to go pull a thing on the right side there, WhytePanther, and he agrees.
Yeah, WhytePanther trying to puzzle this out. I guess you have to push this one more, yeah.
There you go.
Path.
Now just don't get bodied by the enemy. The hitboxes have not been like brutal. Oh, I remember precisely this part. Welcome to the cars of Frogger. I have no understanding of what you're meant. Like what the
stop
best
button
option is to get
stopped
to this area.
The stop button stopped the previous lane. The WhytePanther was expecting the next lane to be stopped, but no. I guess the blue button stops the other lane. Yeah. No, the
But
bad timing.
you locked yourself in. Okay. How do you want to do this, buddy? That's not the answer. There might be an answer. That was not one of the choices.
The flames are also not very clear with their timing, I think. They're not really announcing when they're gonna burn.
Okay, so this
DeepFreeze
seems to be the
finishing
place
this-
that we want to be.
DeepFreeze finishing the ship.
Okay.
Just finished the stage. I think now is boss time.
And we're just heading right and hoping that's the answer. You just run here, don't you?
WhytePanther has a block there that he could push, right? I think. There's a hole.
Giant catfish is heading your way, but according to
Okay, this seems better. Just sneaking up behind this enemy.
I think WhytePanther would have needed to push the left block from the left side when he was there earlier. Might be able to
This
get
is so
around.
touchy.
Oh, gets run over.
It's so touchy. Okay, DeepFreeze fighting the boss has full 8 lives to do so. We saw WhytePanther burn through a handful, but most of these attacks are not themselves particularly threatening, except for the sweep, which has just caught DeepFreeze. Just walks off. I'm curious to hear when we'll get it from presumably one of these boys will want to come in and give us an interview. The controls just seem like they are giving both these players trouble, and given that my comment for this game was also lamenting the controls, I have a suspicion that we'll hear not particularly friendly description of them. This fire is kind of miserable, but WhytePanther's figured it out at this point.
Oh!
Okay, WhytePanther now correctly placing that block. Then the next one.
Okay, we've opened the gate. Can we escape? It's not actually trivial.
There's no. Oh, there's a button, but that's on the other side. So that still takes a bit of running around.
Don't die here. Yeah, that dying to either of those enemies would be so sad. DeepFreeze it got onto the button he needs to be on, but rude, incredibly rude. The fish just destroyed our block that was correctly placed. Okay. Yeah, so we placed it on the block, but the block was destroyed because we didn't get to send it using the catapult button, and we just died to the rock.
Oh. Boss only had one hit point left.
Frogger. You know that moment when you're 25 minutes into the race and you go, "Am I allowed to forfeit because I've been squished?" will this be? Oh, come on! DeepFreeze just falls off the bridge because he wants to get back too quickly, and the bridge is falling down behind him. So I don't blame him. I don't even remember him jumping the first time we got into this cutscene. So fish has 5 lives. We have 7. Meanwhile, WhytePanther's just making it through the factory, and I think a level that's been a little easier on him than the first one. I'd like to see DeepFreeze just keep a life lead against big fish.
the lives does the enemy's health
It's on the
stay when you die?
top. Yeah, it's. I thought it only had 3 lives for a while, because both of our racers got stuck on 3 lives for a bit. You can just see the controls giving him a little bit of trouble there. He just clearly wants to just stick out his tongue, and he just ends up jumping at it. And I don't think it's like that much of a player issue, because it's just been an issue for both racers. WhytePanther goes for the tongue instead of the jump there and gets electrocuted.
I'm not sure what he was grabbing over there. Was that an extra life? So he just kinda traded the death and the extra life.
Yeah, and we're like decently far, but like trying to beat this level with only 2 lives is going to be kind of touchy, because just doing these jumps and like quickly putting in the input, like typically when we're talking about a mystery tournament race, the putting in the input to like be on a block that's going to disappear isn't usually an issue, because we're already trying to go fast. But the controls are so touchy in this game that it is actually like a risk. If you go slowly, you will just fall or get electrocuted or whatever.
We just heard from DeepFreeze. How does that work? That's the only audio we have, so we're gonna get an
I was
exclamation
wondering
here.
what that was. I was like,
Yeah, I
why is
wasn't sure either,
ID?
but yeah.
Why was ID in our call? The
But
the
kinda
request for
figuring
clean
out
audio is
the jumping
overrated. There
puzzle
we
there.
go. Yeah, and you can see the little froggy hands there. Somebody's built this factory to be attackable by Frogger. Terrible bad guy as far as I'm concerned.
This makes it to World 2 as well. But this stage is pretty long and difficult, as we've seen.
Yeah, I think taking a death here is probably a good idea. That felt like taking a death, but it's always kind of hard to tell because our players have just had a lot of... There we go, yeah. Making the executive decision there, and I agree with that you're not going to be beating this level very often. A very high percentage with only 3 lives and going in blindly. WhytePanther actually on that last life. We'll see if they can clutch this out. I think they have a decent amount of level left, and between enemies and inputs and just random Frogger stuff, I'm a bit concerned. This is very scary, but
Oh yeah.
that's
Especially with the
the exit.
cutscene. Especially with the cutscene kind of pausing and then... Okay, that one spot was safe.
Okay, that coin's worth 10. I don't think it's gonna give us an extra life. But we've seen the gate.
Ooh,
Oh,
but then we turned
terrible
around.
choice. Just, yeah. Concerned about making the jump, and as a result, just a bit blind to the enemy, or thinking that can make it 2 quick jumps when the hitbox is a bit bigger than they respected. That means that DeepFreeze is a little bit closer. Are we on like 2-3 essentially for WhytePanther?
Yeah, I think so.
So still a decent lead, but not a feel good. Nothing about this game when you're racing it makes you feel like you're going particularly fast, and you can always imagine that your opponent is not having like control issues that you're having, despite the fact that we know that both of them are having plenty of control issues. So if WhytePanther taking these coins, he's gonna take any bit of help that he can get.
Too far there.
Because the coins do like last. Yeah, the amount of times that we've seen these racers hit tongue when they meant jump, or vice versa, has been non-zero.
And they're hoping for the extra life, this time jumping over.
It is funny that like the enemies just going back and forth is like the most trivial part of this game, just because of how it controls. Typically in something like a mystery tournament, I'm like generally afraid of enemies where I'm not like taking time to see what their patterns are because I just want to go fast. But in this game, they are less miserable than say just thinking that you can do anything. Oh
Well,
no, this is Death Warp. WhytePanther.
As we've seen for WhytePanther when he had that last game over, I also expected that one enemy to go more in a loop instead of back and forth.
Okay, we know that this, if and when we open this gate, we're actually like opening up the exit. So WhytePanther is going to be more than fine here with the 6 lives.
Oh, okay, there's a long way around. Yeah, I was wondering.
He's still taking every coin he can get, though.
Now the enemies are in a different place, nicely out of the way.
Oh, come on. I thought he had that. Meanwhile, DeepFreeze is on. I'm gonna declare the hardest puzzle of the race that we've seen so far, of just one thing you have to drag around a little bit. This has truly been a more of a platformer than a puzzler, despite the puzzle elements.
Oh, WhytePanther,
Oh.
there's still a trap right in front of the exit.
And the
That's
checkpoint's
mean.
far away. It seems like the 2 traps are kind of like the ones that you need to go over quickly are a very different sort of attack to the ones that are timed. But not acknowledging which kind of trap you're sitting on means you just got hit by it. Time loss that he'll not feel great about, but really he's quite far ahead at this point.
Yeah, this should probably be the last stage before the boss.
Now,
To note, we have had a few finishers from outside the race. As always, just putting a bit more pressure on our racers who haven't seen like the final boss, for example, and are probably assuming that there's the same amount of like levels in World 1 as World 2. So for someone like DeepFreeze, who knows that they are only a few into World 2, knows that they have plenty of game to go. More cycles for WhytePanther, he just missed. But what are we on? Why is it swinging?
I don't know.
It really
Can't
It
tell
really
either.
is swinging for no reason. It's like going back and forth, but it's swinging side to side, and has no discernible, like, practical purpose other than for Frogger to jump on.
Literally
Okay.
heard the frog baby's voice before.
Yeah. We're getting a comment there from Half Beastie saying, "Game would be fun if it didn't eat half your inputs." Amen, brother.
DeepFreeze
I
now
just
on,
wish
on
we had
the,
more
the road
parts.
part. That one was really difficult for WhytePanther.
Yeah, this like part of the game like doesn't feel like particularly fleshed out, but I think is actually like the coolest part of the game. It's just old school Frogger, but also these buttons I don't think show up anytime else in this race. DeepFreeze is actually finding a really clean solution here. I'm wondering if he's going to risk it, or if he's going to circle all the way back. That was...
Looks like he was trying to take the long way around, but then jumped the wrong direction, I guess.
Yeah.
Always assumed that the button would stop the other side.
Meanwhile, WhytePanther is making progress here, just taking a little bit of time here, making sure that they don't miss any of these jumps.
Oh, has to grab the platform from the other side? Yeah, that's how that works. Some difficult pathing here for WhytePanther. Has to look around carefully.
To note, by the way, while we've had 3 racers finish, they were all faster than the fastest time that we had when we first raced this. So these racers are actually more in line with what we've seen previously. I mean, good job. It's always going to be, it's always half beastie and company, who are just showing off in these races, but it's good to see that we're just as a community getting faster.
And everyone agrees that it eats inputs a lot. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think it could be an emulator issue. It was commented in ISC in race chat that whether this is a game or an emulator issue, but I don't think Dolphin in general really drops inputs.
This is the game that convinced me to use my Xbox controller instead of my Switch controller for MT, and now I'm thinking maybe I should go back to trying the Switch controller.
WhytePanther having to cross through Sense Fortress here.
Okay, and the hitbox is one bigger than you thought it was. We only have 1 life, but given all these finishes, maybe WhytePanther feels they're a bit behind and needs to push it.
This one is at least 3 tiles wide. The swinging wrecking ball for WhytePanther. Or 4 even. Oh, it's following, that's why. Okay.
Oh, that's really mean if you haven't figured it out yet. Yeah, because WhytePanther and his addiction for coins, thought he had a moment now that he passed the ball to tug some coins, but just not able to.
I think was
DeepFreeze also just actively going and getting the life.
I think WhytePanther was quite far into the stage, so the game over by the loss. But still ahead. And they're going pretty quickly here on that flat 4, but I think is almost back to where he was.
I like how chat's mentioning apparently that one guy was more than fine with the controls, and I'm like, I don't think it's a race issue. I think it's pretty clear that both these players are just having the same amount of input issues. It's the wild input issues when like they clearly wanted to go down and are going up that surprised me. Like, why were you buffering it down, or when did you possibly press down in that process? But It's been a battle for both players. Where do we go to not get hit by this enemy? We just go right. Good job. WhytePanther avoiding a late death here, and I believe is reapproaching where they got to last time with
Yep.
the
It's the bridge
ball.
to the wrecking ball. DeepFreeze finishing a stage might be on the same stage now. Yeah, it's the same stage as WhytePanther, so has caught up a little bit, but still a whole stage and a bunch of knowledge behind.
They're actually up on lives. 9 lives is more than you start with. So it's gonna be on WhytePanther. Ugh. Why is the ball not hitting us? Are we on a lower level?
Yep, you can jump down there. There was another nuke like that earlier. WhytePanther jumping left. Yeah,
WhytePanther just jumping the exact wrong direction. It's like, it's atrocious.
yeah, I wonder where that comes from. We see that quite a bit. I could understand more that it's just like getting the wrong jump, doing short instead of long, or the other way around, but getting the direction wrong seems strange. That has to be some kind of technical issue, I assume.
Yeah, it might be the stick issue of like accidentally flicking the stick when they're just generally using the D-pad, but the left stick is still got its own inputs. Oh no, Zenik. Yeah, when you're facing down, you don't pull out your fingers to find out what's left and what right. You can sometimes just accidentally be 50. Yep. Exact same thing happened to WhytePanther. He quickly caught that he had pressed right instead of left, and tried to turn around, but the block was also a timed block, so it just ends up spinning around before his untimely death. Most of the game that we've been not heading like south, if you will. So I understand the confusion and not like intuiting it.
So there's 2 lives left. 1 life left.
Oh no. This is
it's
getting to be a close race.
Hopefully approaching the end here.
Yeah, but has like only like is learned
Ooh.
everything there is to learn about this. He knows the hitbox; it's still a problem.
Last
He
life.
knows the turns, and he's still 50-50ing when he gets if it's gonna be right or left. It's so touchy. I don't know how much his knowledge is gonna help here with just 1 life. He just has to clutch it. And it's also an auto-scroller because we have to wait till the super ball shows up.
It really doesn't give you a lot of time to jump through here, and there's even a little pit that you could easily fall into.
I'm surprised he doesn't turn it. Oh no.
It looks like we are safe for now.
He's gonna grab these coins. He's been... Yeah, that's time lost, sir. I like the back there. So on that little three-shaped platform, the L, or the Waluigi L, instead of trying to turn around, he just goes backwards to turn. And given how touchy and like 50-50ing like the left and right can be mentally, just moving as much as you can when given the opportunity is a good way to not just make the mistake, which he absolutely could not afford to do. He's now taking an intentional game over, and it's a very good decision.
Yeah, WhytePanther making it to what's presumably the boss with 0 lives. Getting that last stage very, very clutch. So let's see that boss. Apparently it's a good boss. Some kind of helicopter. With an
It's
iron cannon.
it's the same stupid enemy that we saw in Angerfoot. It's a helicopter that's just been overbuilt, And it shoots missiles, which we're going to use potentially to... Nah, we're just putting color things on color things. It's Sokoban. This will be the final boss of the race. WhytePanther has full lives, and I think this guy's only gonna have like 3 different kinds of attacks, so might be able to one-shot it if he doesn't get hit by, you know, lasers.
Previous boss did give both of them some trouble, and yet doesn't really telegraph that beam shot much.
As long as we have more lives than the boss, I think we're doing fine. We've got 7, he's got 3. He is slow to give us the ammo to destroy him, though. It's already been 45 minutes in this race, which historically has been when I see like racers just getting exhausted by the game, particularly in puzzle games, but this game in itself has got its own like level of tilt. And DeepFreeze is still trucking along. It actually has good pace. I don't see WhytePanther messing this up though. Like even this death, as long as the blocks are still in, which they are, gives us blue this time. But okay, WhytePanther, don't try and prove me wrong. Don't let me cast a curse.
Very long lingering attack there, the beam.
Okay, 3 lasers in a row, and it's clear the laser is the one enemy attack that can really catch us off guard. Can we go over this block?
Okay, so you can recognize when the beam is coming if you look at the boss, because it's charging up, but you don't really see where it's shooting. They're charging.
It's where you are. The attack also has like a larger hitbox
Yes, very large range.
than it looks. Okay, WhytePanther is proving me wrong, and in fact, this boss is actually the exact same as the fish, right? It has 3 attacks, 2 of them are impotent, and one of them is going to eat all your lives. We're actually 2 lives to, I guess 3 lives for us. We're actually on a different life system than the boss. He dies on 0, we don't.
Nope.
Tongue push, and get out of there. Okay. One
One
final block here. DeepFreeze has been at this checkpoint a few too many times. Stopped making progress there, while WhytePanther just has 1 more blue block to go. Can he respect the laser? Laser's not the right word. You know, electric attack. I think you get about 2. You get about 2 pushes in before and their attack comes out. WhytePanther agrees.
Almost there and does have 2 lives left, so this... Oh, 1 life
What?
left. And
Just
it
walks
says-
off, and now he has to put the do, you know, 4 different dodges with 2 lives left. Okay, gets 1 extra in there. He's cutting time. I'm curious if this boss just explodes immediately after. He looks like he does, and that should be enough. Assuming that we don't have to do more than.
There is our dot done.
By the time of 49:44, WhytePanther takes it. Yeah, within the time frame of previous races. We'll see if DeepFreeze continues to truck on. But they've given the GG. WhytePanther with the comment, most dangerous A button I've ever seen. Yeah, because it's not actually the A button that kills you, it's the giant pit. Guns don't kill people. Trigger does. I'm curious what World 3 is, if you want to give it to us, WhytePanther. Or at least watch this cutscene. Oh goodness.
They made him so young. DeepFreeze on 1 life here at the wrecking ball.
Yeah, he's just on a rookie with a team full of specialists. We got Ninja, we got Superhero. What's going on? Oh no, he's dead.
No.
Ooh.
Is this what happens when you fall in a pit every time? Is it they just don't show you the cutscene of you being dragged back to the checkpoint?
Maybe they just send in another Frogger.
Oh no, just infinite small children.
DeepFreeze has been doing a bit better here, I think. This has taken less deaths to get this far in the wrecking ball part.
Yeah, I think it could be said that DeepFreeze has been the faster racer for like the second half of the race, but just took a bit of time to get started. And
DeepFreeze saying I'm not doing that level again and forfeits, that's fair enough.
fair enough. Apparently, we missed Lava World, which looks, you know, about as much fun as the first 2 levels. If these boys want to get in here for a chat, we will definitely humor them. But either way, GG's to WhytePanther. Let's get him in here.
Hello.
Yeah, so we know.
GG's. Congratulations on defeating Frogger and to a lesser extent your opponent.
Yeah, so you know, like it's lizard on amphibian violence. I guess that's not exactly fully thematic, but it's fine. That game is jeez.
It was a game.
Yeah.
This was submitted by Wizando the Ancient, which means that enough people had a decent amount of time in MT17 to have it brought back. I'm seeing comments from basically every other racer not named that one guy, saying that they were having input issues, and based on what we saw, I'm assuming the same for you guys.
Yeah, it's very slippery. Is what this.
Yeah, I didn't have like the inputs problem. I was just using raw D-pad, so I didn't have problems with that so much. It was just keeping the muscle memory of pushing the right buttons. You know, oops, I switched to rotated the wrong direction, or I tried to use my tongue instead of jump, or vice versa. Like, at least if I use the tongue, it doesn't immediately kill me. If you jump and you don't mean to, you're dead.
Oh yeah, it's rough.
I know for me, I often rebind the buttons with. I'm using an Xbox controller usually, and I'll rebind to make a B button an X button or something, and that often catches me. I know with this game in particular, it's the L and R to turn. We saw right at the end of DeepFreeze, you were facing the wrecking ball, and WhytePanther, you took a lot of deaths in that little area. Just like facing down and then figuring out if you need to turn left or right seemed to be like just mentally too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mechanics of the wrecking ball were just nasty, like when it started drifting and everything. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that area was just not good, and it needed like 2 more checkpoints.
One other thing I wanted to bring up, that first boss with the fish. Did you guys jump over the tongue at all?
I didn't know I could. Every time I tried, I failed.
I was able to jump over the tongue a couple of times. The timing of it got pretty nasty, though.
It was curious that both bosses just had like one very lethal attack, and then the others were just okay.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. If you didn't get to see that last boss, like that electricity that he shoots lasts a long time, actually.
Yeah, I missed it, so because I just gave up on that last level because I didn't want to have to do that over again.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable.
That was awful.
This is of course, a Lizards 2 match, and as you mentioned, frogs are kind of like lizards. You'll continue to be a lizard there, WhytePanther. It's going to be Lizards 3, but congratulations on the win. DeepFreeze, we were looking at your card. You're a hardened veteran. When was the last time that you joined MT?
Oh, it's been a while. Let me check my challenge. $13.
Have you
Oh, wow.
felt like with the games that you've had this MT that like there's a different feel to like the pool than
Yeah, I've at least thought the games are a bit better this time. Like, I don't like as much as I hate the game I just played. I don't. If it controlled a little better, I think it's a really cool concept. Just extremely questionable controls.
Yeah, if you had like tap turning or something, that would go a long way, I think.
Either way, guys, I know the game was rough because I saw the game, but congratulations to WhytePanther. You'll get to see at least one more. And there goes our last race here on Frogger 2. Anything else you guys want to add, or Muware, any questions?
Not that I can think of. Congrats on moving forward.
Thank you.
I'll do better
Good
next time,
race.
hopefully. Yep,
Yeah.
Chris.
Just make sure there is a next time. It's good to have you back, man.
Thank you.
And GG's.
All right, GG's. Talk to you later.
Take care. And good luck.